taking a look at how one can what understand to get connected to a database. So let's start doing that. Yeah, Gopal, you can share your desktop, Gopal.
Yeah, 1 second.
Yeah.
1 second. Can you see my screen? Ready?
Yes, yes. Yeah. So now let us start with a SQL server. So where we have just seen using Studio, right? Yeah. So where we could able to connect by using what this Windows authentication, right? So let us try to query it and see how to get connected to any database table. Yeah. For example, let's say we have Adventure Works and we have some other databases. So we can use any database schema, and within that we could able to see what n number of tables. Yeah. So where we can see what tables like a T1, T2, T3, whatever, right? Yeah. You can see n number of tables and start getting connected to this database and get the data. First, let us find a query here. Then we'll get into the what data stage. Yeah. So select start from any table. Let's say T1 table, right? Which database we connected here is a master, right? So in order to get connected to this and get the data from any table, we need to use what? Database name dot or schema name dot. Yeah. Dot, let's say T1, right? Now let us try to execute this. Yeah, there is a problem here. What is that? Adventure Works. Can you please type properly, Gopal? The name like whatever we have here. Adventure Works dot. Yeah. I can just run it. Execute, yeah. So there's a problem here. Adventure Works. Yeah. We can't able to access that. Select start from schema dot table dot dbo can put dot dbo dot t1. Adventure Works dot dbo dot t1. Adventure Works dot dbo dot t1. Oh, so there is no data here. So you can similarly can sub other table name you can supply, yeah, where we have the data. So do you have EMP table here? If you have it, just apply that. Oh, there is some data here. Which table T2? So you can just pick up any other table where you have the data. Yeah, some data is there. Fine. Okay then. So let it be there. So we know how to connect, how to retrieve the data from the backend. That is okay. How are we going to do it from the data stage? Yeah, I repeat, how are we going to do it from the data stage? Yeah. So for that, we can log on to the designer client. So remember these things, right? Like a backend things, database connections, all that need to be known by the administrators. So admin part is done. Now we are going to get into what? The developer. So now the administrator is going to say that, okay, these are the privileges we have for this table. Now you can start accessing it. So now we need to get into what? The designer, which will be used by the application developers. Yeah. Yeah.
Administrator in the sense it's DBA, DBA or datastage admin.
It's basically both actually. So we have DBA where they'll have access to particular table spaces, all that. And then on top of that, data stage specific tables, data stage administrator will have control. So you'll have both administrators. One DBA, second data stage administrator. Yeah.
Okay. And to connect, is there any driver configurations
Yeah,
need to
that I'm
be?
going to talk. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Yeah. Now there is a ODBC INI file. I'll talk about it. Yeah. So now UV ODBC file. Yeah. So without that also, what we could do here is we can start getting into the usage of different what stages under database category. Yeah. So I repeat, we can use these stages in order to read the data from the database. Yeah. So we have specific what stages, specific in the sense SQL Server database specific stage and Oracle specific stage, DB2 specific stage, and so on. Yeah. So we can see those stages here. So let us start with the first one, SQL Server enterprise stage. Yeah. So which means we are trying to understand like how to read the data from a MS SQL database. Yeah. So before we do that, here it is mandated that we need to create what? The data source. Yeah. So how do you create the data source within the Windows? Again, this part again, administrator part. Where do you do that? Go to start, yeah, and settings, administrative tools, control panel, administrative tools, ODBC data sources. Yeah. Can you start doing it, Gopal? Admin part. Go to administrative tools, ODBC data sources. Admin tools. Click on that. Go to ODBC data sources. Yeah. Here, can you see here? You have system user DSN or file DSN. System DSN means what anybody can access. User means what? Only that particular user. So let us create system DSN based on MS SQL Server. Yeah. So here it is mandatory that there has to be a driver present here. How do you get the driver? When you install SQL Server, you will get a driver, which is going to be the thin SQL driver. Once we have it, then we can select this SQL Server and start specifying the details. So now you can specify the detail like what, let's say SQL Server, and a server where we have this particular SQL Server has been installed. Let's say here we have it in the local. Yeah. So or else you can specify the host name, like wherever SQL Server has been installed. Then click on next. Yeah, these are all what default ones which we can use unless there is a change with respect to the database. And then can you see here, by default this guide would refer what master database. If there is a change of database, then we can change here like adventure works or whatever. You'll have all of them over here. If you specify this, then there is no need to specify schema dot table. So you can directly specify the table name. Then click on what next. That's it. These are all what default options which we can use, and make sure that we could able to connect it. Can you see here? This connection is successful. Now what is the summary here? One, host. Second, what authentication, which is Windows. That's it. Only two. We just have to remember that. Other options are like straightforward, like database, master database, or whatever, whichever database. We can use any database, but at the time of usage, if you specify database name, schema name, DBO or whatever, right, and table name, right, then we could able to talk to one database and get the data. So that's it. And then say what? Okay. With this we know how to create what DSN, which is data source name, through which we could able to talk to the database and get the data. What is the database name we gave here? SQL underscore server. Yeah, can you see here? SQL underscore server. That's it. Yeah. So that name we need to remember. Once you do that, say okay. Yeah, now admin part is done. So now admin going to what you call publish this information to the developers, which is what? Credentials, authentication, database name, and then now what else? Host name. That's it. Yeah. Now,
Narasimha, I have a question here. Sorry.
yeah.
Is there any difference we are doing these steps in a Unix environment? If we are doing in a Unix environment, Linux environment. So
This is specific to Windows. That's a good question. Under Unix, there is a one. There are two places where we can create this DSN. One, there is a profile file, and second, there is a uv odbc.ini. Yeah. So there is an ini file where we can specify all these details like what we specified here. Yeah. So that anyway you'll have it in the manual. If you go and refer this ini file template where you'll have the template, which means username, password, host, all that. We just need to go and fill that and publish that information to the developers. Gopal? Fine.
for that, where we need to do the changes.
There is a file, ini file, uvodbc.ini.
Oh, okay. So that is the difference between Windows and Unix.
No, even Windows also we can do that. This is the one way. In Windows also
Okay.
it can be done. Yeah.
Okay. So we doing that step also, right?
Yes.
Where we need. Okay.
Yeah, you can also do that. Yeah, fine. Now, let us start getting into what how to configure the SQL server to read the data from the SQL server. Can you guess now? Now you guys can answer. Huh? Yeah, there's a question from Manish, but the designer anyways need the system DS. Not always, Manish. You can also have user DS. User means only that per who are logged in, right? Only that guy can access. System means what anybody else. This is like a global, like an operating system. We have what system environment variables, user defined environment variables. Yeah, yeah. I think you got it, right. System means what? Any user. User means what? Specific to that particular user. Yeah. Clear, right? Yeah. DS anyway is required. So that need to be created by administrator, and then now we need to get the details. Yeah. We in the sense developers. Now you can type in these details, Gopal. System DSN, which is what we created just now. SQL underscore server, right? Username and password. Username is, I think, administrator, A capital. Password is also default password. There is one more question from Manish. So for creating the job in designer, we need the DSN. For running the jobs, we need the odbc.ini entry for SQL server. Is that correct? Yeah, DSN you can also keep this DSN in INI and then refer it here. That's also possible, or we can also create it here. But just for configurable perspective, right, we use INI. That's a uv odbc.ini file. Anish? Yeah.
Can I hear Anish what was asking?
Yes, typing.
Oh,
My question was, so for creating the jobs in designer, we will need the DSN anyways. But for running it, my question was, do we have to use the INI entry or DSN will work?
Yeah, we can normally INI can be used for both. In this with DSN, in this case, with DSN also it should work. So which means without using this control panel settings, right, we can directly use INI, where we can configure DSN name, username, password, and use it. Anish, this is optional if you have done it using INI. So that was the question, Gopal. Yes, Gopal. Stand, huh?
it's yeah.
Then add columns. Columns means first you need to get the table name. I will separate table name. What table I gave? Gopal. Table. I will give the table name.
No.
Then what did you give you? 1 second. Oh, here. So 1 second. 1 sec. Click on source. Here there are different ways to retrieve the data. One, by writing what SQL query. Yeah. Second, we can also add some columns table name. It itself is going to form a query. Yeah. So now click on this arrow button and then type the query here. Yeah. Can I type it? It's not editable, huh? Yeah. Now we are trying to get connected to what repository and get the meta part. In case if you want to do that, this is by using builder, or we can also type it directly. Can you type it here? Gopal, why it's not accessible? Huh? It's a grayed out.
It is not allowing.
Oh, one sec. Cancel this.
How we can download metadata?
No, meta is first why it's not allowing. That's a question. One second. It should allow actually. I don't know. It's not allowing. Huh? How come? One sec. Just leave it here.
Otherwise, we can try with the ODBC stage.
One sec. This guy should work.
Maybe the user ID password is not valid.
Oh, you're not given the right details?
Yeah, but I gave administrator password.
No, that's all. Let us try to create a structure. So, structure. Do we have any structure? Let us go here. So, get any structure from, let us say, some table. Get it here. So, we got the structure. This is straightforward. Now, still it's not readable. What is this? Yeah, just drag and drop some tables. Yeah, this is, but this is not, why it's not editable? This you can do it. Why it's not editable? Let's check. Let's use read method, different read method. Let's set table. Yeah. Yeah. Let us specify a table. What is this table? Yeah, you can type here, Gopal. Your screen is not clearly visible to me. Just correct me if it is right or wrong. dpo.t2.
That is adventure works, right?
Yes, you're right. adventureworks.dbo.t2. You can type. Anyway, it's not required. Directly can put T2 because we have already given adventure works while creating DSN. Yeah, that's fine. Now specify username password. Now you can do that. Yeah, there's a question from Manish. ODP sign-up can be used only for ODBC connector stage or any stage. Wherever there is a data source required, we can use it. This ODBC concept is there since many years when datastage was started, Anish. This connector concept came in after acquisition. After IBM acquisition, right, this connector concept came in. Yeah, because using parallel engine, there is a parallel connector which has been added after acquisition. Before that, there was no concept of connectors. Anish? Yeah, so yeah, data source now we can specify. I think SQL underscore server. SQL, yeah. Yeah, say okay if it's fine. All are fine, right? Yeah. Now, how many columns are there in this? One or two? let us take out. Remember, can we read the data without specifying any metadata? Yes or no?
No.
Why?
So this is like a framework for the data which resides, right?
What not? But here, what we could do here is in data stage, if we specify all the details, credentials properly, then if there is a data in the backend, yeah, so we can still able to read it. Can you see here? It's empty, yeah? There is no data in this.
No data.
So now we can specify the right table name. What is the right table name we have? T2, some table you got some data, right? It was there, right? There's a one row or
Yeah.
whatever. Which table is that?
That was test.
Yeah, just apply test then. Okay. In stage also, in SQL or enterprise stage, right? You can specify test. Table name, yeah, perfect. No, it's not required. Just leave it, cancel. Now you can just add target, which is let us say any stage, like a peak stage or whatever, and then let us run and see the date. Yeah, this part I can remove.
How we can check that database connection is success or not?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. But view data, we can check it. View data expects columns to be there. Yeah. So yeah, we can run and check it out here. Yeah. Then supply job name, all that. We need to supply good job name. Huh? Where are we now? Actually, we are in some other location. Jobs dev, right? Yeah.
Yes, yes,
Now I
yes.
can supply SQL server underscore peak here, Gopal. Can I guess why the control went to table definitions there? Because we were trying to create the structure by navigating to that location. Underscore peak. Use all lowercase. Fine. Now, yeah, now compile and run. Yeah, it is successful, right? Which means what? The details are fine. Now you can go to the director and see whether there is a data in the director. Yeah, you can directly click on that line where there is a data of peak stage. Close it. Click on that. Yeah, there you can see a peak underscore. This is the line where you will have the data. Yeah. Yeah, can you see here? Now we could able to read all the records from where this particular test table. So now that we all know how to get connected to a database, which is SQL Server,
Okay,
and start
so
getting
if
the
we have
data from that. Yeah.
Narasimha, if we have a millions of records, so we can see all millions of records here.
If you want to see, we can see, but this is just will be used for development and testing purpose. So, for
Right, right.
example, in peak stage, there is an option to specify like how many rows that we can preview. Yes or no? This is just like a preview or a printing some of the records in the director, but we can specify here like how many rows that you want to display. Let's say this guy produces 1 million records. That doesn't mean that we need to display all the records in the director. So we can specify here. Can you see here? By default, 10 records will be displayed. So if you want more than that, we can always specify. Or if you want all the records, then there is an option here. Skip option is equal to what true. If you make it as what true, then you'll get all the records displayed in the director. So which means even if you have millions of records also it can be displayed, but only thing is it will take a lot of time to display. That is why it is not advisable to display all of them in the director, because we use this peak stage for what? Just for development and testing purpose. In real production environment, we don't use this. That is why all the stages under development slash debug, they will be used for development or debugging purpose only. Well, yeah, fine. Now that we know how to set up complete database settings and then read the data from data stage, which means what complete end to end we all know, right? Now, can you try one example like how to read data from either file or row generator and start populating data to a target, and the target should be what? A database. That's a SQL server. Let's use the same SQL server as a source and target. Then we'll get into what other databases. Fine. Can you start doing it? Let us say source is row generator, target is SQL server. First example. Second example is going to be source SQL, target SQL. Can you try to do that? Create a new job where the source is going to be row gen, target is a SQL server. Enterprise. Yeah, table can be anything. You can just specify some table. Uh, yeah, let us say just put row gen, table name, and then you have different write modes and write methods. By default, this table will not be available, right? Yes or no? In that case, you need to specify write mode as what? Create. So on the right side, you can see the drop down, right? One of the mode, that is the default mode is what? Append mode. First time when you try to what use this, we need to use create, which means it is going to create the table if the table doesn't exist and populate data to that particular table. Yeah, that's where create option will be used for. Yeah, fine. Now specify database details, connection details. Sorry. Oh, you need to add Gopal, row generator. Did you configure? Oh, fantastic. That's good. Oh, that's good. You added. Yeah. Now save, compile, and run. Can you guess what is this icon represents on top of this link, which is highlighted one? This indicates what? Structure defined or schema defined. Without defining schema, you will not see that icon over link, right? This icon is different. I think I've already said this. It's a partitioning icon. Yeah? Now it's successful, fantastic. Now you can go and look at the data in the database side. Go to the backend and make sure that you have the table name and corresponding data. Go to SQL Server. Yeah, now fire a query against with that table, which is some table you gave, right? Rogen, I think. Yeah, select star from Rogen. Gopal. Here only. Select star from Rogen. Nothing is required because direct adventure works, right? Oh, this is a master. Huh? Yeah. Adventureworks.dpo.Trojan. For adventureworks.dpo.Trojan. Gopal. Adventureworks is missing here in query. Now this is a Trojan, but this DSN was created from AdventureWorks. But backend here we have master. That's why we need to specify this here. Yeah, there's a question from Manish. We can change the database from, yeah, we can also do that. Yeah, under instead of master, you can also select AdventureWorks. Yes. Fantastic. Now we got the output. Yeah. Good. Now,
What was the question?
the question was, you can also change DB from the drop down. There is a drop down here, right? Can you see here? Master. If you click on drop down, you will see other databases here. Database schemas. There is a master, which is a default. Can you see here? These are the different databases. We can change it. If we change it, then we don't need to type here. Or else you can type. Anything is fine. Fine. Now you can run again and look at the result. What can you guess what will happen if you run this datastage job again? Padma, Anish and Gopal.
It's like we already created table and trying to create table again.
What will happen? Is it going to throw error or it will be succeeded by throwing warning?
No, it will fail, right? So we have the same name table creating in database a couple of
So
times.
then how do you fix it? So we can go and, can you go and fix it by using what? Other mode, which is what? We have different modes, right? Append, truncate, replace and create. So we can use what other mode, let's say truncate. When the truncate works, what truncate does? It is going to empty the data and then insert the data to the table. That's it. Yeah. Truncate works or not? Truncate. Use truncate. Truncate doesn't work?
Hey, it says if when you click on truncate, if you look at the information, it says truncate table records only. So
Right.
it will record.
Which means
So
structure is already there. It is going to empty
okay,
the
got it.
data and populate data to that.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Yeah, now say okay. Let's save, compile and done. Any other questions? Will it work or not? Say okay, compile and done. Gopal, are you there?
Yes, yes.
Say okay. What happened? Slow, huh? Yeah, compile and run. Again, I'm asking question. Will it fail or success? Will it be successful or going to get fail? Padma said was, yes, sir. Padma said what? Successful, huh? Okay, Gopal.
Yeah, if we are not creating whatever the changes we doing for the data, not with the table creation. So
By the
that is
time
the
once
case
it
that
got successful. So it's will be successful, right? Yeah.
right.
Right, fine. Yeah, now let's go and look at the data. What will have data in this, in the target table? Same data or different data? Same, right? Because truncate, it is going to empty and insert, that's it. No? Is it equal to override option? Overwriting the data to an existing table or something else? It's equal to override, right? Yes or no?
Yeah,
Only thing here is truncate means what? We do not have any rollback option. Yeah. So overwrite is not the case. Yeah. So that's the difference. Like a delete and truncate. What is the difference in of delete and truncate in database? If we delete data, right, we can still roll back. But if we truncate data, right, we can't. Yes or no? There is no rollback option. Yeah? And there are some more differences. I'm just trying to give one simple difference which we all can understand easily. Yeah? Clear, right? That's it. Now let us say, yeah. Now let us take a break for 5 minutes. Then after that we'll continue with what other options. We have different modes like a replace and one more. What is that? And which is straightforward. We'll talk about it. And we also have write methods. We are using what simple write. We can also have upset, which we are going to talk after the break. Yeah? Fine. Okay then.